Hey everyone, Pastor Mike here, New Life Church. You know, perspective can change a lot of things. I know that this might surprise you. It probably doesn't surprise you. I know it doesn't surprise my family, but I don't know everything, and I certainly don't understand everything. You know, when I watch the news and I read some articles and we examine all that's been going on over the past several weeks, I recognize that I don't understand everybody's actions, and I certainly don't understand everybody's reactions to different things. And so it's helpful to gain perspective. That's what we've been talking about over the past few weeks. A couple of weeks ago, we talked about getting perspective with God, that as we could spend some time in prayer and reflection with God, God might reveal some ways that we were not aligned with God, what God desires for our lives. And that would require some perhaps repentance on our part and to kind of change how we are going so that we might become to look more like God and more like Jesus and reflect His ways. This past week we talked about, other ways that we can gain perspective, whether it's articles or podcasts or movies, and even conversations with people. People in their lives can help us gain perspective. I know for me it was very rich to hear the stories from Rita Stewart and Victor Neal this past weekend, because I did not grow up as a black man, and I do not know or pretend to know the perspective of a black female. And so for me it was very, very helpful to hear from their stories, and so thankful for their willingness to be vulnerable and transparent. I know that they don't speak for all folks, but they certainly spoke for themselves, and I thought they did very well. So for me, that was helpful perspective. Also, participating in different events can help us have perspective. This past weekend, I was able to be a part of a march, one of my very first marches, and so I gained a lot of perspective on that march. It was brought together by the churches, the United Methodist churches in the Richmond area, and after the march, there was a time of prayer, a time of reflection, and our bishop led in some of that, and she encouraged everyone to take a knee. And as we took a knee, she said, I want you to hold this position for 8 minutes and 46 seconds. Well, the comparison wasn't lost on us. We know that that's the amount of time that the knee was on George Floyd, and at the end of that 8 minutes and 46 seconds, he lost his life. That tragedy in 8 minutes and 46 seconds. But as we were in this position and holding it, so many thoughts. One was gaining the perspective of what it must have been like being on the ground for that amount of time. And as I thought through that, certainly there was great empathy and a heart of compassion kind of welled up within me. Another perspective I had is that as I'm kneeling in this position, I recognize I am a man who has grown up with many different privileges. And so how could I have perhaps inadvertently or directly helped fuel a system that we are a part of? And so it was a good time of reflection for me and gaining perspective. So I'm not sure how you're learning and growing in these days. I pray that you're taking time to stretch and to grow, and that we all might stretch and grow and learn together, that we might become more and more looking like the church that God has in store for us to be and to represent Him into the world. Well, I'm so thankful for all of the ways that you have already been doing this, are doing this. And I look forward to us being together again this weekend, even though virtually. These are great times to worship our God together. And I look forward to seeing you on Sunday. 10 a.m. for young families is Powerhouse Moment with our family ministries director, Ashley Pride, and then 10:45 worship together. I hope that you have a wonderful week and a blessed weekend. See you soon.